guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, how you doing? Yes, this is going to be the second part of The Power of No Will Set You Free, Facing the Matrix Reality, part 2. Okay, so if you were interested or you liked the information in the first video and you're wanting to know what it is about this fake reality, how do I know we're in a fake reality, what the heck happened, and just want to know more, period, stay tuned. Give me 5 minutes. If you lose interest in after 5 minutes, I understand, but hopefully you watch all the way through because the information is pretty important, or at least I believe it is. Guys, please like, comment, subscribe. If you have any questions, leave them below. Always hit the notification bell so you know what I'm posting, because this platform will not tell you and will not show you. I will not come up in your feed if you don't hit the notification bell. And yes, let us get right into it. Alrighty, so there is no solid, only our perception of it. We don't live in a world as we perceive we do, but in a frequency band or range, which some call dimensions or densities, and they interpret each other just like analog radio and television stations operating on different wavelengths while sharing the same space. I know that was a lot, but for those of you who are familiar with frequency and wavelengths and all of that, you should have gotten that. I read up on it so much that I kind of, it made sense to me. This is where the law of attraction comes in. So what I just said, it coincides with law of attraction. Law of attraction is basically the decisions you make on a daily basis. What's in your mind, your thoughts, your perceptions, the things you say, all of that matters. You are in control of your life. The decisions you make bring you your life. So there's no such thing as good or bad luck. It's all you. If you have bad thoughts, if you feel bad every day, if you're always complaining, if you wake up with a dread in your heart because you're going to a job that you hate, there are ways to get around that. There are ways to make your life better. And if you don't know that all those things, your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, what comes out of your mouth, that's right, what comes out of your mouth dictates your future and dictates what comes around you, what you attract, what comes into your life. If you do not believe this, you have nobody to complain about your bad life but yourself. But let me continue. This is where the law of attraction comes in. Your life has nothing to do with luck. The higher your frequency, the better your life, to put it simply. 90% of what you have in your life comes from what you think, feel, say on a daily basis. Everything I just went over. Now go into computers. Computers we use are encoded into binary digits known as bits, represented by 1 and 0, or on off electrical states. Quantum computers employ quantum bits, qubits, which use atoms, protons, or electrons to store and process information. So let me read that one more time in case I know I kind of messed up on that. Computers we use are encoded into binary digits known as bits, represented by 1 or 0, or on-off electrical states. Quantum computers display quantum bits, qubits, which use atoms, protons, or electrons to store and process information. Hopefully that was more clear. Biological computers have consciousness and can think for itself up to a certain point. Computers have sleep mode, so does our bodies. Computers cease to function or die, so do our bodies. Computers have a CPU portal processing unit. We have the brain. Computers have a hard drive. We have DNA. Computers have antivirus protection. We have an immune system, which brings us to brain-computer interface. Elon Musk is the father, and he is the face of trying to eradicate humanity by incorporating computers into the brain with chips that go into your brain so that you can interface with a computer. If you adore Elon Musk, then I guess you're going to agree with this, but I will never get that. That will never be a part of my body, and I don't need anything to interface with a computer. I can turn it on and use it just like we are now. Technology in which the brain can think instructions to the computer because the tech is connecting to computers. That is why we're able, or the people who have had chips placed in the lower part of their neck are able to interface with the computer, because we are like computers. Remember, this reality isn't real. We are vibrating atoms with little to no mass. We're like a projection. We're like a holograph. So why wouldn't we be able to interface with computers? Anyway, it's happening right now, so I don't need to convince you. It's happening right now. Biologists are now making synthetic cells, and if everything that I just said wasn't true, they wouldn't be able to do that. Okay, so we think we are our bodies, names, races, etc., but they are only a bad copy of what we really are. And what we really are is consciousness first. We're consciousness having an experience in this body. So really, race, ethnicity, hair color, eye color, skin color is so irrelevant and so insignificant and so unimportant. Once you understand that, you'll have a completely different view on racism. The only reason why there's so much hate and evil and suffering and hunger in the world is because that's what the powers that be want. And the beings that are controlling the powers that be need to feed off of us, and that is the negative energy. That's why these entities from the lower fourth dimension come back and forth, because they feed off of fear. Fear is the worst, lowest frequency energy you could possibly have. Fear, hate, all of those horrible emotions that make you hopeless, that make you feel like you're just, why bother living? That is what they want, and that is what they feed off of. But let me continue. If we all realized at once we are just consciousness having a temporary experience in this body, racism, hate, anger, vengeance, all these negative emotions you're harboring will fall away. When you realize who you really are and understand you really are, and understanding is realized, a peace is gained, so profound that this bad copy of life becomes a joke. You see it for what it is. You are able to finally feel infinite love, and the illusion of the system falls away. You wake up, and that's what they don't want. They don't want anybody to wake up. That's why I'm giving this information. That's why, hopefully, if you don't normally come to a video like this and you're watching me, I have touched something in you, and you maybe will try to see if anything that I'm saying is true. Our reality is something very close to the Matrix movie series, and I've already said that in my first video, per John Stoll, professor of physics of the University of Maryland. So this is what a professor of the University of Maryland has quoted. Our reality is something very close to the Matrix movie series. The five senses are decoding systems that turn waveform information into electrical information, which they communicate to the brain. Nikola Tesla said, if you wish to understand the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. You do know there is a form, you know there is a free form of energy, right? Tesla invented it. He invented it, and the powers that be are hoarding it, they're hiding it. Any scientist, any person wanting to get those patents, because they have been patented and hoarded and taken by the powers that be, if anybody even thinks of getting those Tesla patents to get that energy, because we shouldn't be paying for Wi-Fi, we shouldn't be paying for water, we shouldn't be paying for electricity, we shouldn't be paying for any of that. Life should not be the way that it is right now. But if anybody were to come forward and tell and like create a mechanism for that could be mass produced so that people could get free energy, they would be killed, their family would be killed, it would be completely shut down. And we all know that the legal system is a big lie as well. You know that if you don't have money, if you're not a celebrity, if you're not anyone of importance, you know that the legal system really doesn't work for you. So, you guys say more. Time really doesn't exist, but put time and money together, and you pretty much have the human control system which governs the entire planet. And I know it was hard for me to wrap my brain around, but think about it. Somebody created time. Somebody created the 5-day work week. Somebody created every day of the week. Some idiot decided that we need to change the time when, the seasons change from winter to fall or whenever it changes. Normal is a perception of reality. A ghost is see-through because it is no longer on the same frequency as us. That's it. Paranormal is normal. Paranormal, there should not be any paranormal. because we were meant to live in the six senses. We were meant to communicate with beings on different frequencies. We were meant to speak to angels. We were meant to do all of that. That's why some people are able to see ghosts, and that's why some people are not able to see ghosts. And this explains it. The ghost is see-through because it's on a different frequency and no longer has the skin that I'm in right now. We are being influenced all the time by other frequencies. We just don't realize it. And it's a natural, that's a human being's natural state. It's our natural state. It is not paranormal. Oh my God, multidimensional communicating across the frequency scale is normal. We have been manipulated into an unnatural state of isolation by the hidden force that created and controls the system and our simulated reality. That is the truth. That is the truth. Now, but near-death experiences are examples of that we were meant to be in a sixth sense world, because people who have come back from near-death experiences explain how different it is, how beautiful it is, how peaceful it is. They know everything on a scale that they have never experienced before, and it's familiar to them. They're able to come back and talk about it and experience it and not be completely brain dead and brain damaged from it, because that's our natural state. And for one moment they had to die to experience the natural state that we came from. That's really sad. Okay, so introducing the Archons. Now the Archons are very important because this is what's going to help you understand what this fake reality is, what this carbon copy of Earth really is. To me, this carbon copy of Earth is an exact replica of what I think is heaven. So it's like you have your heaven when you die. That's where I'm going. I don't know where you're going, but let me stop. Let me stop. That's where I want to go. I want to go to that place where I'm able to be who I really am. I'm able to be the consciousness that I was meant to be, and be free and be all-knowing, and not have to deal with this horrible bad copy and be a slave under the thumb of these beings that we don't get to see because they're being, the powers that be and all these people that rule the world are being controlled by them. But anyway, so the Archons are that invisible hand that are in control of the powers that be around the world. A fifth of Gnostic texts discovered at Nag Hammadi are focused on non-human entities they call Archons, meaning rulers in Greek. This is the force behind the matrix simulation that we experience as the universe and the system of human control and subjugation. Gnostics texts say Archons can possess the human mind, manipulate perception. Examples are demons and jinn. Archons remain in another frequency range and are able to manipulate illusions and instill beliefs. Example, royalty screaming to the masses they rule by God. Excuse me, WTF? What? Right, which God? Which God gave you that thing, that ability, that right to rule? Because I'm pretty sure it wasn't Jesus who gave you that right. Absolutely not. But that's what people believe, that Jesus, God, the God that I believe created my consciousness, not this body, but my consciousness. That's what people believe gave these royal people the ability to rule and the right to rule. No, sweetheart, no, darling. That is the wrong God. Okay, the God that they are referring to is the one down there. Okay, are we clear on that? Great. But the one huge flaw of the Archons that makes them parasitic in nature is that they cannot create. They lack enoia, intentionality, creative imagination. They can't create anything from scratch. They only piggyback, imitate, change, and distort what has already been created. Hence the bad copy of reality matrix we are born into. These Archons feed off of us to overcome their disadvantage. I hope you're understanding now what I mean by a bad copy of Earth. We live in a bad copy reality. They created it. Archons need us in order to survive. They need vast amounts of energy, and not just any energy will do. It has to be within the frequency range of the virus, or it can't be absorbed. And the energy that syncs with the Archon virus is low vibrational energy, sadness, envy, lust, hate, vengefulness, all of that. Emotions, especially emotions based in fear, anxiety, stress, hatred, resentment, revenge, conflict, depression, and competition, even death and suffering, especially sexual energy without a love connection. That's why they do so many sexual things in these satanic rituals. They are the reason satanic sacrifices and ritual are of the main source of power behind global government powers, Hollywood, and the filthy rich. These sacrifices release excess of emotion through sheer terror, and when done in certain areas where powerful energetic ley lines exist, example Stonehenge, that energy then flows through the energy grid of the planet, and especially more powerfully when done on days of the summer solstice or time of the highest energy of the planet is experiencing. So yes, make no mistake, Eyes Wide Shut, that's a movie you can watch if you don't believe any of this. Eyes Wide Shut, the director of that movie, something horrible happened to him. I believe he was murdered. They say he died of natural causes, whatever the reason was that he died, but he died in a bad way, and I believe that he was murdered. So if you're wondering, like, what are you talking? Eyes Wide Shut. Eyes Wide Shut. Archons range in all of the following: demon possessions, evil spirits, reptilian hybrid humans, and artificial intelligence. There are many other descriptions, and cultures all around the world have their own names for them. Demon possessions are rampant. Sterilization all-time high. AI is being introduced in every capacity right now. And culling of the planet, of course, with illness, hospital mistakes, which 75% of the hospital mistakes are equal to all the deaths, most of the deaths that happen around the world, and more people than ever depend on the powers that be. Now, I am going to wrap this up. This is a lot of information for you to kind of dive into, and oh god, I wish I had a teleprompter so I could just look directly into the camera, but I don't have that. I'm going to kind of wrap this up with a few bits of information. I hope this wasn't too rough for you to take in and to understand. I'm kind of following a momentum and a path so that when I do my final video, you kind of have the entire picture. The fall of man was discovered to be a global theme in the study of a serpent worship by Reverend John Bathurst Dean, who detailed his research in 1933 in the book Worship of the Serpent. He found worship of reptilian gods everywhere. He wrote in conclusion, "It appears then that no nations were so geographically remote or so religiously discordant, but that one and only one superstitious characteristic was common to all, that the most civilized and the most barbarous bowed down with the same devotion to the same engrossing deity, and that deity either or was represented by the same sacred serpent. It appears also that in most, if not all, of the civilized countries where this serpent was worshipped, some fable or tradition which involved history directly or indirectly alluded to the fall of man in paradise in which the serpent was concerned. What follows then, but that the most ancient, respecting the cause and nature of the seduction, must be the one from which all the rest are derived, which represent the victorious serpent, victorious over man in a state of innocence, and subduing his soul in a state of sin into the most abject veneration and adoration of himself." I think that right there, that study, that one study, if it doesn't make you think, and it doesn't make you, especially if you're a Christian or you're Catholic like me, or you're of some religion, all of our religions kind of connect in one form or another. That has to resonate with you. That really has to resonate with you. And this person, this John Bathurst, he did study. He studied. He did so much work on this to come to this conclusion, and he studied all over the world. So if that doesn't bring it together and bring cohesion to everything that I have said in the previous video and this video, I don't know what will. I think that knowing this, what we can do to try to break this spell, break this hold that these beings have over the entire planet, over everybody, over everything that's going on, over the fact that this is still going on, and this is making it worse, and this has a big part to do with how this is being spread, okay? And no one wants to believe it. No one wants to. We need to wake up, and the only way to wake up is to be informed. Even if you are not an avid believer, even if you're not like, yeah, I agree with you, Jules, you don't have to. But if you get informed and you start reading this information for yourself, as I said in my previous video, most of this information comes from this book. If you want to pause it to see, you know, the author, it's the same as it always is. This is where a lot of this information comes from, but I'm just touching on such a small tidbit of information in this book that I think that you should really know. We can wake up, we can make a difference. Well, I just love how this camera loves to cut me off. Like I was saying, if you're interested in more of the information, please leave the name of the book that has all of this information word for word and so much more. I will leave it in the description box below of each video. And yes, guys, make good decisions, because making better decisions will always better your life. And until my next video.